Welcome to Neon and welcome to NDC. This is our 7th annual NDC. It's the longest running developer conference in our industry. It's hard to believe it's been 6 years since NDC 2020 when we introduced the original Neon Dream. Every year since NDC 2020, we've introduced some breakthrough innovations every single year at NDC. All up to last year at NDC 2025 with Neon Intelligence. Today, we have some exciting new software announcements, along with some big new hardware announcements, and some profound new intelligence features across all of our platforms. Let's start with our hardware announcements, starting with what's new with Neon Compute. Our Neon Compute lineup continues to break new grounds. Of course, most recently with our latest ComputeBook Air, 13-inch ComputeBook Pro, Compute Mini, and the beautiful new X Compute, all powered by Z1, completely redefining the computer industry. Today, we're bringing our SoC architecture to our Pro machines with ComputeBook Pro. The 14-inch and 16-inch Neon Book Pro are already the ultimate Pro notebooks, excelling at so many different tasks. Today, we're completely reimagining ComputeBook Pro, starting with the first Pro chip designed from the ground up for Neon Compute. This is Z1 Pro, the next chip in the Z1 family, and it's a game changer, being the first Pro system on chip for Neon Compute. Traditional Pro systems use dedicated GPUs, which have to communicate back and forth between the CPU and memory, being a slower, more power-hungry method. That's where Z1 Pro changes the game. Z1 Pro is based on a 4th generation 3nm process with a mind-blowing 85 billion transistors, which is 77% more than Z1. Z1 Pro has a new unified memory subsystem with 410 GB a second of memory bandwidth and being 35% faster memory than Z1. And you can configure the Z1 Pro with up to 128 GB of unified memory. Z1 Pro has a 20-core CPU with 16 high-performance and 4 efficiency cores, delivering 60% faster performance than Z1. The 32-core NPU is the same super powerful one as Z1, with 128 trillion operations a second. The Media Engine also now adds support for APV, for super professional video codecs. And it has the same security engine, a new display engine, and improved system cache. And with the GPU, Z1 Pro has up to a 24-core GPU, which is up to 50% faster than Z1. So that's Z1 Pro, scaling upon the Z1 architecture to new heights. Yet, we wanted to push the limits of Neon Silicon even further. So today, we're launching not one, but 2 new chips for compute. I'm thrilled to introduce Z1 Max. This profound chip builds on Z1 Pro in an incredible new way. What we've done is start with a Z1 Pro and simply swap out the bottom GPU tile out for something twice as big. We call this the Link architecture, and it's a game changer. Z1 Max has a ridiculous 136 billion transistors, 60% more than Z1 Pro and 2.8 times more than Z1. The memory subsystem gets doubled to 820 GB a second and supports a mind-blowing 256 GB of unified memory. Z1 Max has the same 20-core CPU as Z1 Pro and doubles the GPU to 48 cores, being twice as fast as Z1 Pro and 3 times faster than Z1. And the Media Engine gets doubled with 2 APV accelerators. Z1 Pro and Z1 Max deliver industry-leading performance per watt. Compared to the industry-leading ARM-based 18-core PC laptop chip, Z1 is already 30% faster, and Z1 Pro and Z1 Max are now up to 2.1 times faster. And compared to the most power-hungry 24-core PC laptop chip, the Z1 family leaves it in the dust. The GPU takes another huge lead, with Z1 and Z1 Pro leaving the 18-core chip in the dust, and Z1 Max being in a whole new caliber, But if we compare Z1 Pro to a comparable high-end discrete GPU, it's up to 20% faster, and compared to a compact Pro laptop with a power-hungry discrete GPU, Z1 Max is up to 75% faster. And finally, compared to the highest-end discrete laptop GPU on the market, Z1 Max is up to a whopping 50% faster, making this by far the fastest laptop chip in the world. So that's Z1 Max, scaling up the Z1 architecture even further. It's by far the most advanced chip we've ever built. Z1 Pro and Z1 Max are a huge leap forward for Neon Silicon, and they were essential for this new era of ComputeBook Pro, and it's extraordinary. This is the all-new, completely redesigned ComputeBook Pro, and it comes in two great sizes, 16-inch and 14-inch. The new ComputeBook Pro features an all-new unibody design that's even thinner at now just 14.8 millimeters thin and 4.5 pounds for the 16-inch, and just 4.6 millimeters thin and 3.3 pounds for the 14-inch. The front now features zero screen bezel just like Neon Dream, and the keyboard is now color matched to the silver and satin black unibodies. And now ComputeBook Pro has a hinge that can fold over 360 degrees, creating a two-in-one design. So now let's talk about these exceptional displays. ComputeBook Pro now features our extraordinary ultra-optic XDR displays with tandem OLED, which uses two stacked OLED display panels to deliver deeper blacks and higher brightness and contrast. The 14-inch model features 6.8 million pixels, up to 5,000 nits of brightness, 68 billion colors, up to a 240 Hz refresh rate, and optional matte textured glass. And the 16-inch model has 8.6 million pixels with the same specifications. And for the first time, these are touchscreen displays, allowing you to interact with ComputeBook Pro in new ways. These are by far the world's best notebook displays. And connectivity gets even better. On the right, there's two Thunderbolt 5 120 gigabit per second ports, HDMI 2.2, DisplayPort 2.1b, and a UHS 3 SD card slot. And on the left, there's a high impedance audio jack, two more Thunderbolt 5 ports totaling 4 in the system, and a new dedicated charging port called SnapCharge, which is magnetic and supports up to 240 watts of power, and you can still charge via the Thunderbolt ports. And with this, you can connect a lot of things. With Z1 Max, you can connect up to 4 Neon Display XDRs at 10K resolution, or 6 at 8K. This is the most versatile connectivity ever in a Neon notebook. For wireless, ComputeBook Pro features W1 for efficient Wi-Fi 7 performance, and cellular models come with B1X for the fastest cellular in a notebook. Now let's talk about performance. Compared to the previous 16-inch NeonBook Pro, the new 16-inch ComputeBook Pro is up to 2 times faster in CPU performance, and up to 75% faster in GPU. Now let's look at the 14-inch model, which is also configurable with Z1 Max. It's also up to 2 times faster in CPU, and up to 2 times faster in GPU, and the NPU is up to 3.7 times faster than before, and with up to 256 gigabytes of unified memory, it's by far the most memory ever in a notebook, and it's shared across your GPU as well. And the SSD now delivers up to 18 gigabytes a second speeds, and it can be configured with up to 16 terabytes of SSD storage, the most ever in a notebook. These are by far the most powerful consumer notebooks in the world, and they can deliver this exceptional performance whether plugged in or on battery. The 14-inch delivers up to 21 hours of video playback, which is 4 hours longer than before, and the 16-inch delivers up to 25 hours of video playback, which is 5 hours longer than before, and the longest ever for a Neon notebook. So that's the groundbreaking 14-inch and 16-inch ComputeBook Pro with Z1 Pro and Z1 Max. They simply have no equal. But that's not all. Z1 Pro is coming to another beloved system, Compute Mini. Compute Mini is an amazing little system, and now, in addition to Z1, we're introducing a new higher-end model with Z1 Pro. With Z1 Pro, Compute Mini is up to 2.7 times faster than the previous Compute Mini with D6, and 50% faster than the fastest Neon Compute with D6 Max. And the GPU is up to 2.4 times faster than Compute Mini with G6 and 75% faster than Neon Compute with G6 Pro. And the NPU is 3.7 times faster than Neon Compute and Compute Mini with D6. And it can be configured with up to 128 gigabytes of unified memory and up to 8 terabytes of SSD storage with 18 gigabytes a second speeds, all making Compute Mini the world's most powerful compact desktop. So that's Compute Mini with Z1 Pro, taking our littlest desktop to a whole new level. The 14-inch ComputeBook Pro now comes standard with 32 gigabytes of unified memory and 1 terabyte of storage, and it starts at $24.99. And the 16-inch model comes standard with 32 gigabytes of memory and a 1 terabyte SSD, along with a faster Z1 Pro for $29.99. And they can be configured with Z1 Max, 256 gigabytes of memory, 16 terabytes of storage, matte textured glass, and B1X. The new Compute Mini with Z1 Pro also comes standard with 32 gigabytes of memory and a 1 terabyte SSD, starting at $14.99, and it can be configured with up to 128 gigabytes of memory, 8 terabytes of storage, and a faster Z1 Pro. You can order them today, and they'll be available on June 5th. And they join the rest of our incredible compute systems powered by the Z1 family of chips. In fact, with this introduction, we've completed the transition for our notebooks. The future of Neon Compute has never looked brighter, and we're just getting started. So that's Neon Compute. Now, let's talk about some big announcements coming to all of our software platforms. We have so much to cover today. I'm going to start with two things that are foundational to our platforms. First is Neon Intelligence. Last year, we took the first steps in making intelligence that understands you, with so many features that were available from day one. And over the past year, we've made it even better with new models and improvements. This year, we're expanding the languages supported by Neon Intelligence. We're making the generative models even better and smarter, and we're continuing to tap into Neon Intelligence in more places across our ecosystem. Throughout today's presentation, you'll see new Neon Intelligence features across dreamOS, timeOS, spatialOS, rubyOS, tabOS, and mediaOS. Plus, this year, we're doing something new. We're making our on-device Neon Intelligence Axiom models open source. Now, Axiom models can run on any platform, hardware, and software entirely on device. And we're upgrading the model itself to Axiom 2, which is even smarter and faster. We can't wait to see what developers will do with Neon Intelligence and the Axiom models. Now, there's another piece of our platform story this year, and it's a big one. In fact, it's the kind of project that only comes along about once every few years. It's a gorgeous new design that feels effortless to use. Our last major redesign was rubyOS Amaryllis. Back then, we were inspired by the beautiful simplicity of flat design and the amazing power of our Clapdragon silicon. Well, a lot has changed. Neon Silicon is so much more capable, enabling software materials and experiences we can once only dream of, and our devices have become even more vital to our daily lives, being used together across so many of your daily experiences. The stage is set for something new that will enable great experiences for years to come. Let's take a look. Our new design looks and feels exceptional. It's built using a new material we call frosted glass. Frosted glass is built upon our learnings from the physicality and richness of spatialOS and rubyOS Clover. Frosted glass absorbs the light coming from UI elements across the system, and it reimagines everything from UI elements to your app icons, and the icons pop in new light mode, dark mode, and colorful new tints, and now an all new clear look. And you have the option of circular icons now as well. Elements once considered for rectangular displays have been redesigned to fit the rounded corners of our newer displays. The system looks great in light mode, dark mode, or an all-new ambient mode that celebrates your wallpaper across the system. Everything, down to the smallest UI elements, have been thoughtfully considered for this new design. Today marks the beginning of an exciting and beautiful new chapter for our design, one that sets the stage for the next era of our products and how you interact with them every day. We're really widgets spatial now. They can be placed on your wall and in your environment with exceptional detail and clarity. Not only can you have pinned widgets, you can also now have pinned windows. These windows can show up anytime you turn on Neon Glass or Neon Headset, even if you restart them. We're also bringing dream mirroring to spatialOS. So now, without even needing to touch your phone, you can use it right from your spatial experience. And now you can even launch multiple dreamOS windows right from the spatial environment. For scenes, we're adding a beautiful new Jupiter scene, which allows you to visit Amalthea and view Jupiter right from your living room. Next, we're expanding controller support with support for PlayStation VR2 Sense controllers for Neon Headset. So you can play any Steam VR game with these controllers right on your Neon headset. And we're also bringing support for spatial styli, including two from Logitech, the Logitech Muse for Apple Vision Pro, and the Logitech MX Ink for Quest. Alongside the PSVR 2 controllers, this enables new spatial experiences for so many apps. Now, while Neon Headset is incredibly capable, we want to give you some essential information for when you're not using Neon Headset. So we're introducing See-Through Glance. Using the high-resolution see-through display on Neon Headset Pro, you can view information at a glance, such as the time, date, battery, and notifications. See-Through Glance will be available only on Neon Headset Pro, and it's going to be an incredibly useful feature. Last, let's talk about a new Neon Intelligence feature available exclusively in spatialOS, Quick Apps. Now, you can generate apps and spatial experiences using Maven. Now, you can simply ask Maven to do something like make a to-do list based on my tasks, and using Claude's models, the Quick App can be generated and used in seconds. This uses models from Anthropic, DeepSeek, or OpenAI, and it supports any AR feature or API. And there's so many more Neon Intelligence improvements you'll hear about later today. That's spatialOS 27. It's a big release to enhance your spatial experience to new heights. Next up, let's talk about tabOS. tabOS 27 is a giant release that will enhance the Neon and Tab experience across all devices, and it starts with a beautiful new design with frosted glass, from a redesigned lock screen to an all-new home screen, which can be customized with circular, tinted, or clear icons. Now let's talk about multitasking, as tabOS 27 introduces an entirely new windowing system to Neon Tab. This new windowing system was designed for touch, and it allowed us to bring the action bar to tabOS as well, allowing for more app-specific controls. This is full desktop-class multitasking right on tabOS, and it works across the entire Neon Tab lineup, from Neon Tab all the way up to the powerhouse Neon Tab Pro. We're also bringing Dream mirroring to tabOS, allowing you to access your Neon Dream right from your Neon Tab, right in the new windowing interface. And you can have multiple dreamOS windows alongside tabOS windows, which unlocks new levels of versatility. Next, we have a brand new app for artists and creativity. We call it Etch. Etch is a powerful new drawing app for Neon Tab. It supports many different brush types and strokes, and it's fully compatible with Neon Pen features. Etch is built in with tabOS 27, so anyone can get drawing immediately. We're also introducing a new feature for exporting projects in the background with background exports. So if you begin exporting a project in DaVinci Resolve, you can close the app and have the export continue in the background, even when you switch over to a different app. And even when you lock your device, it's a super powerful feature. And that's tabOS 27. It's a big release aimed at improving your Neon Tab experience to new heights. Next up, let's talk about what's new in rubyOS. rubyOS is what drives our amazing Neon Compute lineup, expanded even further with the new Z1 family of chips. This year, we're building upon what users love about rubyOS, with features and experiences designed for everyone. But what should we call it? Well, our crack product marketing team was adamant that their job was done when they noticed that years ended in two-digit numbers, but rubyOS demands more. Fortunately, they began their journey across the globe to discover a beautiful and popular flower, one that will look sweet on a bicycle built for two. Let me introduce you to rubyOS Daisy. It's a big release with features and experiences designed for everyone, starting with a beautiful new design. From a redesigned lock screen to a completely reimagined desktop, widgets, the dock, icons, all crafted from frosted glass. And it gave us the opportunity to rethink many UI elements. Many of you missed having the quick controls on the bottom of your desktop right next to your dock. We've brought the controls back down while keeping the action bar up top, and everything from your windows have also been redesigned. The control panel looks amazing, and it's much more customizable now. And now you can customize your icons to be dark, clear, or tinted. This new design is also very functional as we're bringing the live bar to rubyOS. Now, the live bar tasks from your Neon Dream can appear on the top of your screen, and when you launch them, they open up in Dream Mirroring, where you can launch multiple dreamOS windows. Next, we have an entire new file browser for rubyOS, and it's called Scope. Scope has an intuitive new interface that's also very intelligent. With Neon Intelligence, we're introducing Smart Search, which can find files using general search terms. So, searching for something like PDF from yesterday can find the file immediately. And we're bringing this experience system-wide with Maven Search. Maven Search replaces the traditional search by integrating the power of Maven into search. So the same Smart Search works here as well. We're also integrating the app launcher into Maven Search, being a new intuitive way to view your apps. And this app launcher, along with Maven Search, are coming to tabOS 27 as well. And that wraps up rubyOS Daisy, a stunningly powerful release with a beautiful new design and exciting new capabilities. Next, let's talk about mediaOS. mediaOS is what drives the smart home, and mediaOS 27 takes it to a whole new level, starting with the new design with frosted glass. Your apps and home screen beautifully celebrate the frosted glass design. We're also introducing video previews right from the home screen, which interact with the frosted glass design elegantly. The new control panel has also been designed to keep the viewing experience completely uninterrupted. Next, let's talk about the video playback itself. The chips powering Neon TV 4K and Neon TV 8K are incredibly powerful, which enables us to do something amazing. With Neon Intelligence, we're introducing on-device 4K upscaling, where any 720p or 1080p content can be upscaled automatically to 4K. This requires no user setup or developer configuration, and it's an opt-in feature. We're also adding beautiful new screensavers and a beautiful new interface for screensavers, which also work incredibly well with frosted glass. We're also bringing the live bar to mediaOS, so you can get live bar tasks right from your Neon Dream to appear on your big screen. And finally, we're excited to bring web browsing to the big screen as the Apex browser comes to Neon TV. The interface has been designed to give you a ton of screen real estate to the web page itself. You can type using the on-screen keyboard, your voice, or through your phone. And that's some of what's coming to mediaOS 27, a big release designed to make your TV experience even better. Next, let's talk about timeOS. timeOS is the heart and soul of Neon Watch, and timeOS 27 takes the experience to the next level, starting with the beautiful new design with frosted glass. From the watch face to the home screen and icons. And for the first time ever, you can set a wallpaper on your Neon Watch home screen. We also have a new widgets interface free from the home screen. And we're bringing the live bar to timeOS as well, synced from your Neon Dream. Next, let's talk about fitness. Fitness on Neon Watch is already a great experience, and we're taking it even further with Neon Intelligence with the Workout Sidekick. This gives you real-time text-to-speech pep talks during your workout, things like notifying you about achievements and progress on your workout. Workout Sidekick works when your Neon Watch is paired with a Neon Intelligence compatible Neon Dream. And we've redesigned the workout app to pair with the new frosted glass design. We're also bringing new interactivity to Neon Watch as well with hand gestures. A double tap gesture initiates quick actions. A double tap or wrist flick can dismiss a notification as well. So you can double tap to go from viewing your workout to viewing your watch face. We're also bringing the Notes app to Neon Watch, allowing you to keep track of essential things on your wrist. Notes can sync over from your phone, and they can even be made on your watch itself. And we're expanding phone integration as well. Last year, we brought the Neon Watch app to iOS, and we're bringing new EU exclusive features to iOS and the Neon Watch. Now, notifications and alerts will sync across your iPhone and Neon Watch. This is compatible with iOS 26.5 and later on iPhone 11 and later, only in the EU. That's what's new with Neon Watch. Next, let's talk about Neon Ring. Neon Ring is the future of health on your finger, and today, with the Neon Ring Software 27, it gets even better, starting with hypertension notifications. Now, the heart sensors can identify how blood vessels respond to beats of the heart, and if it detects abnormal blood pressure, you'll be notified. This is compatible with Neon Ring, along with Neon Watch 4 and Neon Watch Max 2. We think hypertension notifications will be a game changer for so many people. But the big news for Neon Ring this year is the Neon Ring SDK. Now developers can integrate Neon Ring support into their apps, including health and fitness apps and payment apps with Neon Pay. And we're enabling hardware developers to integrate Neon Ring support for their accessories like gym, health, and fitness equipment. The Neon Ring SDK enables a new chapter of capabilities for Neon Ring, and that's what's new with timeOS 27, a big release for Neon Watch, and unlocks new capabilities for Neon Ring. Now, let's talk about what's coming in dreamOS. dreamOS 27 is a giant release for Neon Dream. It starts with a new design. From the redesigned lock screen to the new home screen, everything is crafted from frosted glass. The app drawer has been redesigned to just be a simple swipe gesture. Apps feature the concentric, rounded, and floating items. And everything looks great in light mode, dark mode, and the new ambient mode. And we used this as an opportunity to redesign many key apps. Apex features a new compact tab bar design. The camera app has been greatly simplified and immersive. And the music app really shows off the frosted glass design. We're also enhancing customization in a very fun new way. Now, you can theme your device based on its color. So if you have an Earth, Ember, Thunder, Aqua, or any color Neon Dream, you can tint icons and the interface based on its color, really blurring the lines between hardware and software and making your device much more expressive and personal. Next, let's talk about phone calls, as we're adding call screening. This is designed to prevent unknown spam callers. When an unknown number tries to call you, they'll be asked for their name and reason for calling. We think this will mark the end for spam and robocalls. Next is a game-changing privacy feature called AI Tracking Transparency. This is designed to ask apps to not use your data to train AI models. If you launch an app that's known to do this, you'll be given the option if you do or do not want your data to be used to train AI models. This will be a game-changing feature for so many users. We're also adding a system-wide live bar, which shrinks down into a small capsule up top. Now let's talk about the changes coming to Neon Intelligence. First, the AI models themselves. Last year, we announced 5 AI partners being a part of Neon Intelligence. And today, we're adding on top of that with new on-device models. In addition to Llama and DeepSeek, we're adding Google's on-device Gemma models with Gemma 3 and Gemma 4, which range from 270 million to 4 billion parameters, and Qwen with Qwen 3 and Qwen 3.5 ranging from 600 million to 8 billion parameters. Combined with every other model a part of Neon Intelligence, this is the widest array of built-in models on any platform. But if there's a model that you want to use personally, you can import your own AI models right from settings. You can import your own on-device models that you downloaded from the web or API keys for cloud models. And we plan on adding more models in the future. And to get those new models, we're introducing Neon Intelligence OTA updates, where now Neon Intelligence updates are separate from the OS updates themselves. And now these updates can be installed on both dreamOS 27 and dreamOS 3. So even without updating to the latest OS, you can still receive the latest models, security updates, some feature updates, and integration with newer OS releases. Now, let's talk about some of those features coming to Neon Intelligence with dreamOS 27, starting with Maven. First, Maven is getting an all-new design with an expressive new face, and Maven has a new voice that uses new models.
Hi, I'm Maven, your virtual assistant. When you're ready, ask me anything.
Of course, Maven still supports the same advanced features we introduced last year, but now we're adding on top of these features. First, we're adding chatbot-like functionality, so you can interact with Maven just like a traditional chatbot, and it works with text and voice. Second is on-screen generation, where you can ask Maven to generate on-screen content like a new recipe, which also works with text and voice. And these features and new design are coming to our other platforms like rubyOS and tabOS. And we plan on introducing even more Neon Intelligence features and updates throughout the coming year. So that's dreamOS 27, a big release designed to make your Neon Dream more beautiful and personal than ever. But that's not all that's new. Let's talk about transitions. Last year, we started the Neon SoC transition for Neon Compute, which we're still undergoing as you saw earlier today with Z1 Pro and Z1 Max. But today, we're announcing the biggest Neon transition yet. We're announcing the transition away from Android to our own Neon OS core for all of our platforms. This is the Nexus core, the same core as rubyOS, and it'll be the new core of all of our platforms in the future. This transition will redefine the mobile industry, and there's a lot of factors and questions you may have about this. So I'm going to break it down using the iconic 5Ws and 1H. Let's start with who will be affected. It'll be any user on our 3 Android-based platforms. dreamOS 27, timeOS 27, and mediaOS 27. Next, what will happen? Well, on your end, not much. We want this transition to be completely transparent for our users. We want your experience to feel the same as it does today, but with significantly better performance. And we'll get into why in a bit. Next, where will it occur? Well, it's designed from the ground up for Neon Silicon. For Neon Dream and Neon TV, it'll be designed for devices with P1 and D40 and later, respectively. And for Neon Watch, it'll be designed for Neon Watch models with WR2 and later. So this new core is designed to leave behind all of our legacy technologies, which will improve performance in huge new ways. Next, when will it happen? For you developers, it begins today. Our developer betas include both an Android and a Nexus Core versions, which we will be beta testing throughout the summer. For our users, the transition will begin later this summer when we ship dreamOS 27, timeOS 27, and mediaOS 27 to the public. And this transition will take about 2 years, with it being completed in 2028. By then, we plan on phasing out the Android-based version of our platforms. But now we get into the biggest W question. Why are we doing this? To put it very plainly, Android has been holding us back. You probably know that half of our platforms are already based on this Nexus core. rubyOS, tabOS, and spatialOS are all based on the same Linux-derived Nexus core. But for dreamOS, timeOS, and mediaOS, they're all based on the latest version of Android. Our goal with this transition is for all Neon platforms to be based on the same Linux-based Nexus core. Now, you may remember that we have been through this before. In fact, pretty recently, 2 years ago with spatialOS 4, we transitioned away from an Android-based core to a rubyOS-based core. Now, since spatialOS is a more unique platform, this transition was very easy, and it allowed spatialOS to be deeper integrated into Neon platforms. And now that we've proven we can embark on an ambitious transition like this, we think it's time for this transition to be completed across our remaining Android-based platforms. There's another big factor in this transition, and that's release timing. Since our releases are based on Android, we've always been tied to Android release timing, which has backfired for us numerous times. With rubyOS Amaryllis, we intended to release it in August of 2023, as that was when the prior Android 13 was released. But Google pushed it to October 2023, which had us push rubyOS Amaryllis by a full 2 months. A year later, with Android 15, they released it in October 2024, but we weren't willing to wait that long. So we launched dreamOS 2 in September, running a beta version of Android 15 at launch. This even backfired for Google themselves, as they had to launch their Pixel 9 phones running Android 14 at the time. And last year with dreamOS 3 and Android 16, Google launched Android 16 earlier than ever in June of 2025, mere weeks after we released dreamOS 3 in beta. But because of this early release, it allowed some of our competitors like Samsung to beat us at releasing their Android 16 release. Now, with dreamOS 27, we intend on shipping it with Android 17 at launch. But with our Nexus core, we don't need to worry about Google's timing with Android releases anymore. We can release these updates whenever we feel like it. But there's still some other factors, like foldables. You may remember the last time we launched a foldable device, the Neon Dream 5 Fold, almost exactly 2 years ago. Well, why the hiatus? Well, it's because we want to provide the optimal foldable experience, and Android does not allow us to achieve the experience we want. And there's desktop mode. You may remember when we introduced desktop mode in rubyOS Amaryllis, giving you a desktop-like experience when you connect your phone to a monitor. But we quietly removed it in dreamOS 3 last year. Why? Well, Android is holding back our vision for the full potential of this feature, as we want to deliver a full desktop like experience when you connect your phone to a monitor. Now that dreamOS will be using the same core as tabOS, these two specific features are now possible. There are many other factors to why we're doing this transition that we'd be here all day, but to sum it all up, the Nexus core will allow our platforms to be even more unified and integrated than ever. So now, how are we going to do this? Luckily, the Nexus core is designed for this from the start, as we've built in a native Android 17 subsystem, which can run Android apps at full speed without modifications. In fact, you may notice that the Play Store is still going to remain the default app store on our platforms. But some apps may require translation, which is why we're introducing the Lumen translator. Lumen is a dynamic binary translator which automatically translates apps to run at full speed with zero developer modifications. But even after all this, some developer modification may still be required for some apps. So in that regard, we're introducing the Nexus Core Toolkit. This toolkit is compatible with Visual Studio and Android Studio, with more programs coming later down the road. And for most apps, you just need to download, import, and recompile, and the vast majority of developers can get their apps running in just days. The point of all of this is that nearly every single Android app will be compatible on day one, and that's thanks to the built-in Android 17 subsystem. And because of the subsystem, every Android API will also be compatible on day one. And the cases you need to switch between the cores, we've added a one-touch button to swap between the OS cores right in the Settings app, and it requires no restart. And in the rare cases of an issue, the OS core can switch automatically. Now, in dreamOS 27, the Android core will remain the default, but next year, the Nexus core will become the new default. And for timeOS and mediaOS, the Nexus core will become the default in early 2027 with updates to timeOS 27 and mediaOS 27. And with next year's major timeOS and mediaOS releases, the Android core will be phased out entirely, while it will still be maintained for dreamOS until 2028. So, all put together, this will be a huge transition that will be completely transparent to users. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter for dreamOS, timeOS, and mediaOS, with Neon's biggest transition ever. Combined with the ongoing transition to Neon Z-Series chips for Neon Compute, this is such an exciting time for Neon, and we cannot wait for what's to come. What a huge day of announcements. We introduced the powerful Z1 Pro and Z1 Max chips, which supercharged the groundbreaking redesigned ComputeBook Pro, along with the new Compute Mini with Z1 Pro, taking another huge leap forward in our transition, and game-changing updates across all of our platforms. This is a huge week for our developers, with new APIs, technologies, hands-on labs, sessions, and the platform State of the Union. Developer betas will be available today. Public betas will be available next month, and all of our OS releases will be available for all users later this summer. This is a huge week for developers and a huge year for Neon. We're really excited for what's to come from all of the announcements we made today. Thank you for joining us. Let's go have a great NDC.